I was looking at these cars for like 5 years before I ended up buying this, and a few different times reading all the comments on people talking about how, oh my god, they're not reliable, you're gonna blow a head gasket, your WRX transmission is glass, all that. It just, like, it deterred me a few times from buying the car. But at the end, hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I am Dr. Goat. Today I'm going to be talking with you guys about Subaru's reliability. So I want to preface this to you guys, let you know in advance here, this is mainly going to be my experience so far, and not just the whole, you know, not just me talking about what other people have pointed out as issues with the reliability in these cars. But yeah, this is going to be mainly about what I have experienced so far in my 2 years of ownership with my 2012 WRX hatchback. So that being said, let's hop out real quick. We'll talk about it. Honestly, guys, I'm a little bit disappointed right now. It is so windy out here, and I wanted to fly my drone around the car a few times and try to get some cool clips of it, but I am not doing that right now. That drone would be gone. All right, guys, so I'm gonna try to do this. It's been awfully windy. So hopefully the sound quality is not terrible. I am sorry if it is. But anyways, I wanted to start this out by saying, you know, I could just sit here and list off the things that are known to be common issues, things that a lot of people have happen, which, you know, things like the head gasket, ringland failure, transmission issues, the list goes on. And I wanted to start this off by saying that, and just saying, you know, every car has its issues, so I don't want to discourage people from buying one of these cars because of some of these issues, because not every car is gonna have the issues. Because honestly, this car has been great for me. It's been great to me. I've had a lot of fun with it. That being said, I have had some issues, and yeah, let's start it out. So number one here, and I want to say honestly probably the biggest mechanical issue I've had with this car, was that I somehow popped, I believe it was one of the yes, it was one of the cam seals. And basically what happened there was one of them popped. I just honestly didn't know that. I just kept seeing more oil puddling up on the ground over a period of time there, and finally decided to take a look at it. And if you know these cars, to get to that front seal on the cam, which we could tell the oil was leaking from the front of the engine, you have to get into the timing belt area. And basically these cars have a, I guess it's technically a can't remember if it's 4 or 5 piece timing belt cover, and it was a little bit of a pain to get to. Some of the nuts in the plastic of the cover were stripped, so I ended up having to kind of cut them off just to you know, get the cover off to look in there. And of course, when I did, with how much oil had been leaking, the timing belts and all that was soaked in oil. So that being said, you know, a lot of people say, especially with these being belt driven, not chain, if that happens, if your timing belt gets soaked in oil, you need to replace it. You know, it's otherwise your belt's oil soaked and there's a good chance of it skipping some teeth, and that's not good. So I ended up, you know, with the plastic having the nut stripped on it, and that I got whole new plastic for the cover, new bolts, had to get a few seals for that, got a whole new timing belt kit with the water pump and all of that. I got brand new seals for, you know, the cams, all the seals up front there, replaced all those. And yeah, I had quite a bit of money into it. I believe I have another video on this. I know I talked about it a little bit before, but I had probably close to $2,000 in parts, I want to say, and I screwed it up. I have been honest about this before. I was stupid and I put some little white lithium grease around the seals to help them go in better. That was a dumb mistake. You should not be doing that, because basically it just lubricated those seals to where you get any pressure built up and it popped them all right back out. So from there, I ended up, once I found out that that had happened and everything, I got a hold of a local company called Subi Guys, and obviously with the name, they specialize in working on Subis. So took the car to them, they fixed it. I had, I think, right around another $2,000 in getting this done again. But if I would have just took it to them the first time, you know, not knowing much about the Subarus and their engines, I would have been better off doing that in the first place. But yeah, so that is honestly the biggest issue that I've had with this car as far as reliability so far. I will say the one other thing, well, that one didn't leave me stranded on the side of the road. One thing that did, completely my fault, so I'm not calling it an issue with these Subarus, was when I was replacing all that, I'd taken one of the radiator lines off. When I put it back on, apparently the clamp didn't pop back. It's one of them that'll, you know, you can squeeze it, it'll kind of hold together so you can take it off. Yeah, apparently that was kind of a rusty piece, and it did not hook back like I thought it did, and I ended up blowing that hose off going down the road, lost all my coolant, seen the temp was rising, pulled over, and yeah, luckily that was it. So one of the other things that's honestly just more of an annoyance than anything is it can be tough to go into reverse sometimes. It sounds like that's a fairly common thing with these cars. I know I have buddies that have Subis as well, especially the WRXs, that, yeah, I guess just the getting into reverse is kind of a pain sometimes. Sometimes I'll have to, you know, push the clutch in, and it is so freaking windy. But yeah, you can end up fighting with putting it in reverse sometimes. That could be just my car, but like I said, it sounds like that's kind of a common thing, but it's not that big of an issue. Another thing that it sounds like is common with these, I am not 100% sure on what I have going on right now, but you may have heard the clutch squeaking. Apparently the spot welds on the clutch, the little piece that runs through the firewall, the spot welds can crack, and that'll cause the firewall to flex every time you push the clutch in. So that's kind of more an annoyance than anything. They do make a kit that I will try to put up in here that you can take the rivets out of the firewall and put those in to kind of firm it up. Or what I think I want to do is find a local welder and get them to fully weld around it, and hopefully that'll take care of the issue. hopefully you guys can hear this. I'm gonna explain this last little part and then we'll get in the car and talk the rest. But another thing which is common in, you know, any turboed vehicle, it kind of burns the oil. You know, the heat from the turbo and everything, you are gonna be burning oil. So it is definitely recommended if you own a WRX, any turbo vehicle, make sure you're checking the oil fairly regularly and just keep an eye on it, because you are more than likely going to be burning some oil. So anyways, let's hop in the car and just finish this out there. That is the main issues that I have had personally with my car. But I also wanted to say, these cars, used especially, obviously if you're buying brand new, you know what's been done to the car, you know how it's been treated. But these Subarus, specifically the WRXs or the STIs, people aren't necessarily buying them just as a commuter. More than likely they want to have some fun with it, and it's more than likely not just been babied around. And yeah, that's, you know, the older they get, the more the younger crowd is going to be able to get into them and afford them. And we all know, being younger, you like to really have fun, and I am sure these cars can get beaten on pretty hard. So when you are buying used, I mean, you're definitely always taking a chance, regardless of if you go to a dealership or just buy it off someone privately. You know, a dealership or anyone is gonna tell you, more than likely, unless they really want to be honest, that it's probably been beat on. It's, you know, it's been used. Between that, and I will say that I am definitely not the easiest on the car. I really don't think I'm that hard on it either. Can be from time to time, I guess. But honestly, 99% of the time I am doing kind of what I just said most people don't do, and just putzing around. But I will say, if someone comes up to me in town and wants to mess around, I'm more than likely gonna mess around. And yeah, I got the car to have fun with, I'll be honest. So, you know, these cars too, a lot of people will get them, and even having heard the issues that can come with the engine and that, throw a bunch of mods on them and wonder why the engine blows, or, you know, head gasket or whatever. It's just, any engine is only built to handle so much power, and it just seems like these engines, people want to throw a bigger turbo or whatever on it, and it may not really hold that much power. And guess what? You've got a lot of money you're going to be dumping into the car, putting a new engine in it. Personally, if something like that happens to me, this car's probably going to sit for a while, and I will be saving up to get something stronger and, you know, more built to handle the power, because I absolutely love the platform of this car. And, you know, if this one goes, I will definitely be saving for something stronger, and I will probably put a few mods on it. But another thing with mods, a lot of people can't really afford, like I say, I would save up. A lot of people are impatient and can't afford high quality parts, so they'll buy some cheap parts, you know, eBay Turbo or whatever, and slap it on there, and that's gonna cause you all sorts of issues. But between that, and from what I have heard, I don't truly know these cars. I'm not an expert with these engines by any means, So I'm just kind of talking from what I've heard, but when you put mods on these engines, it sounds, from what I hear, again, I'm repeating myself so much, but a good tune is required for dang near anything that you're gonna do. I know I've heard even like putting a cold air intake on it, you need a good tune after that. So honestly, I will say, I believe personally, a lot of the issues that come with these engines and a lot of the crap that's gone around about how unreliable these cars are, I want to equate that to mostly younger drivers and people that either one, mod the crap out of them and either don't get it tuned or don't get a good tune or good parts, or just have so many mods on it that the engine can't handle it, or people that just aren't maintaining the vehicle. You know, it's like I say, it's gonna burn oil and whatnot, so if you're not one to check the oil very much, you may want to be with one of these cars. It's, you know, it really, again, there are going to be, with any cars, with these, there are going to be some cars that are just lemons, you know. The engine's going to have its issue no matter what, but a good majority of it is just all about the owner and how they maintain the vehicle, how they treat it. So, that being said, like I said at the beginning, I do not want to deter anyone from buying one of these cars, because personally, I was looking at these cars for like 5 years before I ended up buying this, and a few different times reading all the comments on people talking about how, oh my god, they're not reliable, you're gonna blow a head gasket, your WRX transmission is glass, all that. It just, like, it deterred me a few times from buying the car, but at the end of the day, I still got one, and I am glad I did, because I do absolutely love this car. So, anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Drop a comment down below if you know of any other, you know, issues with the reliability, or if you own one of these cars, let me know how reliable it's been for you. And as always, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.